Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast, episode 48.
Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. My name is Chuck Solanas, and I'm joined by our very special guest, Dr. Jacob Kashiwagi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. All right, Dr. Jacob. So my question for this week is going to be about a perspective that you've shared with me in the past, that you want to have a survival mentality when you engage in business. With LSA, you just want to survive another year. Is this a better perspective, do you think, as far as morale goes, to set the expectations low with this survival mentality, rather than, we're going to make this the best year ever, we're going to do it really well, we're going to exceed all of our expectations, like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a better thing or not, but I know my goal, and this isn't only in business, but it's in life and whatnot. My goal is to be better, is to produce something of greater value, to do something that is more than what I'm doing. That's my goal, right? My goal isn't to do the same or be complacent with what I'm doing. And so when I want to get better, in order to get better, I have to learn. In order to learn, I have to know that I'm the underdog. Right? Because when you think you're not the underdog, when you think I'm going to crush it, we know what we're doing, we're going to do great. Oftentimes that type of mentality, it stops you from realizing, hey, you actually have to improve a lot. You got to figure things out. Things aren't going perfectly. Mm-hmm. And so in my life, in my way of thinking, I'm always looking at, hey, I need to learn. I need to improve. And no matter how well I did the year before, that's the year before. This is a new year. I got to do even better, right? Now, if I was like 100% perfect and I did things the best and I knew more than anyone else in the world, then I might not have that attitude. I might be like, yeah, I'm going to kill this, because I'm at the top. There's nowhere else to go. But because I'm not, and I know it, my survival mentality is, hey, I want to do good. Yes, I want to kill it, right? Yes, I want to, be better than what I was doing before. But I know that I'm not the best. Right. And so in that way, I guess you can say I do have a survival mentality of, yes, no one knows technically what could happen. There's a lot of things in life that happen. There's a lot of things that you could be missing that you don't know. And so with LSA, with my businesses and whatnot, as I move along, any day something could go wrong and we might close up shop. But if I'm always having the mentality of doing better, of learning, of realizing I'm not the best, I'm not like the top dog, I'm the one who's learning, I'm the one who's developing, and I feel like that's what helps me to be able to move and always be able to achieve my goal of being better.
Okay, so you're thinking that a survival mentality means that you don't know everything, and because you don't know everything, you're open to learning. That's what you think a survival mentality is.
Yes, because when you think about surviving, when someone's trying to survive, what are they trying to do?
They're looking for anything, any solution.
Yeah. They're trying to be as innovative as they can because they have to be efficient because they're just trying to stay alive, right? It's when you get enough, when you have tons of money to spend, when you got lots of resources, when you don't have to be very efficient, that's when you're not surviving anymore. Because you're not worried about not being relevant, right? Because, hey, I have plenty enough money, I have plenty enough resources, I'm not worried about like dying. and so I want to be able to have lots of resources, but I still want to maintain that drive to realize I need to be more efficient. Even though I have a lot of resources at my disposal, I'm not going to waste those. I want to better my operations. I want to better how I live. I want to be able to use less money and produce more, right? And if I have a lot of money around me, I don't want to let that distract me from my goal, which is really becoming more efficient, doing it so that I can be able to live with the least amount of effort. Does this make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just like, I guess when I think of survival, I think having a survival mentality means living like very bare bones, like you are not very well off, your well-being is really low. That's what I think of survival mentality. I think that you are like making $1 an hour, you've got nothing with you, like you're hardly producing anything, but it's just enough to get by. That's what I think of when I think of survival mentality.
And you're right. That's why when you're surviving, you're like not doing well. That's when you most need help, right? That's why when you're surviving, you need help. You have to become more efficient because you don't have a lot. Now, I want to keep that mentality of trying to be better, knowing I need help, becoming more efficient, even when I get a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing more powerful than someone who has resources, but is very efficient. Someone who understands how to accept help. Someone who understands that they don't know everything, right? The big downfall is when people get stable and they get money and they get power and prestige and they develop in their life. They begin to think they know more than they usually do. And I don't want to get that way. Because as soon as you think you know more, then you stop learning more. You stop listening to others more. And it kind of cuts off your ability to learn and grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. So you're like trying to survive. You're on a desert island, you're just surviving. You're in survival mode, right? You don't know anything, you don't have a lot of resources. You're trying to figure out how you're going to stay alive till the rescue boat comes. Now there's like a person who understands a lot in what they would do in that mode. And there's a person who doesn't understand a lot in what they would do in that mode, right? If you're in a small group that is trying to survive, the person who's not as smart, they're like trying to like hurry up and take all the resources they can. They're trying to, they don't see ahead, so they don't know what's going to benefit them. So they're doing the easiest things they possibly can do, probably wasting a lot of their time, not the most efficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like the person surviving that's not the smartest person. I want to be like the person who's surviving that's like the smartest person, who's realizing we're a small group. We're stranded on an island with very few resources. We have to utilize everybody to their fullest. We have to work together. We have to learn how to use every single thing on this island for our benefit and gain. And it's going to have to be distributed, and it's going to have to support everybody. That's the type of person I want to be like in survival mode. The one who's observant, the one who understands. Not the person who's like not the smartest, not the most understanding, who's only thinking of themselves and everything they do is like reactive. They're not thinking ahead into the future. They're not seeing out, what will be the most efficient use of their time and resources.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So your survival mentality is probably a lot different than what comes to my mind. Because what comes to my mind is the first person, the one that doesn't have a whole lot of resources but isn't very bright because they're using everything up. They are barely holding on. They're just learning as they go, but it's just such a slow pace.
Yes. So no, I don't want to be like that person.
Okay.
Yes, my survival attitude is just realizing that you don't know everything. And even though you might have a lot of resources, that doesn't mean you waste, right? To be in survival mode means you don't waste anything. When you're in survival mode, you use everything to the maximum capability as you possibly can, right? And that's what I want to keep is when I touch something, I want to get the maximum use out of it. You know, I don't want to like say, okay, I'm going to buy this computer and then next year I'll just buy a new computer, right? And just throw this one away. I want to be like, if I need to buy a new computer next year, then I'm going to make sure that whatever I'm doing with this computer I currently have, I'm going to make the maximum use out of it. You know, that's like a survival mentality of, yeah, we have resources, but just because we have resources doesn't mean we waste, doesn't mean we don't always continually look at ways to be better and more efficient and use less money, less resources, and produce more.
Do you feel like that mentality deters you from investing?
No, no, not at all. I I mean, I have investment accounts, so I do invest, but it's like, here's the thing is when you're in survival mode, you're really looking at, okay, what's the most important things, right? Like if you're like only have 12 hours to live, you're trying to survive. And in those 12 hours, you're thinking, what really means something in my life? What's really of value here? And in terms of investments, right? I mean, when you're about to die, money is not really very valuable to you.
I, yes, that's true.
So investments are okay, and I have investments, but they're just not that valuable to me, right? I'm not looking, you know, having a lot of money stored up because eventually everyone dies. Money is not going to be the thing that makes you happy, right? And I don't want it to make me feel that way. That's why
Mhm.
I'm in survival mode.
Okay, so even though you have investments, but you still think you act like you're going to die in 12 hours. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't act like I'm going to die in 12 hours. I'm not that bad off. But I try to keep a mentality of keeping in focus what really means the most in my life. Spending time and putting value on things that mean the most to me, right? And that's the thing. When you're in survival mode, you have to be able to quickly figure out this is a value. This is where I should spend my time. All of these things, not as much. And
Mm.
so in my survival mode, I'm constantly looking and saying, okay, do I spend time on my investments making even more money than I'm making? Or do I spend time on doing something that helps others, adds more value to my family, and I also make money doing it? Right? And so I'm looking, I'm like, well, yeah, if I spent more time on investing, I might make a lot more money, but do I really need all that money? Is that really going to be beneficial to me in the long run? And in my survival mode, it's not, right?
Mm. Okay, so you want to thrive, but on your own terms.
If that's how you want to call it, I mean, if we're just doing semantics here, I'm good with that.
Okay. So you don't care. So your big thing is like you want to become successful, you want to help people, you want to grow, you want to improve, progress, and whatever measures that you are measuring that. But you're not going to be someone that's like um, fighting for scraps in the trash. Um, you're going to be like somewhere not at the top of the income chain, not at the bottom, somewhere in the middle, because you enjoy that, you appreciate the lifestyle that that brings. Is that
Well,
accurate?
first, Chuck, this isn't a income thing. It's
Okay.
a mentality, right? Just because you're in survival mode doesn't mean you're fighting for scraps. If if I had no money and I needed food, I wouldn't be fighting for scraps. I'd be trying to figure out with the people I know, the resources I have and whatnot, what's the best meal I can get that will be consistently feeding me every day. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be fighting for scraps because that's not the best, most efficient way to get food. Does this make sense?
Right.
So in life is tough enough. It's even tougher when you don't know it's tough, right? When you are not in survival mode, you think, "Oh, I'm doing really well in life." Right? But yeah, people do well. But it's life is a hard thing. The reality of it is life is a hard thing. Even when you have a lot of money, life is hard, right? To be able to figure out what's going on, how to do things, why things are happening to you, with the diseases in the world, accidents that happen, needing to make enough money to support a family, all these events going on in the world, life is a really tough thing. And if you don't know that it's tough, and you don't know that you're trying to figure it out, then you're going to think, oh, I'm doing really well. I'm going to thrive in life. And then when something hits you, you're going to be like, whoa, I'm so messed up. Right? But if you know you're in survival, if you know life is tough, if you know every year you have to be learning more, if you know you're going to go through tough things in life, which everybody will, then when tough things happen, you're prepared. You realize, hey, I knew life would be tough. That's why I'm in survival mode. That's why I'm learning from other people. That's why I'm trying to get help. That's why I'm trying to be good with my time and resources and knowing what's going to really benefit me. Is this making sense?
Yes. I some of these questions I ask just for clarification. Other others I ask because I really don't understand what you're saying. So I think it's a little bit of both, but with what we're talking about, you're you're basically most concerned about a few things. You want to continually grow. You don't want to, if life becomes harder than it currently is, you don't want to have this expectation that life's unfair, can't believe it, this is just so awful, and then you're just thrown out of whack. You always want to have in mind that life is really, really tough.
Well, no, it's not a concern. It's just reality. The reality is life is tough. Very few people in the world can't say life isn't tough, right? You will go through tough times. You can be happy, but life is a tough thing. Dealing with death, dealing with, the chaos in the world, dealing with other people, right? Anyone who's ever lived a little bit knows life is tough. That's the reality of it. And if you don't know that, then it's going to be a very big eye opener as soon as something does come across. So, it's not about I'm concerned about it. It's just that that's the way it is. And I know it. And I know that I'm not like the best in life, right? I'm not at the top. So I can't thrive because I'm not at the top. Only the top people thrive. I'm like somewhere, maybe close to the top, but I'm getting there, right? So I'm surviving. I'm moving along, right? I'm happy. I'm enthusiastic about life, but I'm surviving it, right? I go day by day like everybody else. I go through my own issues with life and understanding it. I need just as much help as the next guy in being able to stabilize my life and learn how to grow and develop. And I'm not foolish enough to realize that having a lot of money enables me to be able to be happy and progress, right? So I am surviving. I am trying to figure out how can I best use what I have to my advantage. How can I best use the resources and my time to make me happy, to be able to figure life out, to do the things I want to do. Did that make sense?
Yes. My next question is, if you are like looking at a scheme that makes, or not a scheme, you're looking at a business proposition that requires a lot of time, but it makes you a lot of money. You're going to be like, not so much, right?
Right.
Because of the mentality.
It just depends. I have to look at things are different for everybody. If like I didn't have enough to feed my family even, and I need money, I'm not going to be too prideful to say, hey, this is going to make a lot of money, but because it's only based on money, I'm not going to take it if it's my only option, right? If I really need to survive, to feed the people I'm responsible for, and I'm not making anything, and I don't have a job, and this investment opportunity comes along, I look at everything in life and I say, hey, what is going to be the best way for me to move forward here and survive? Yeah, it's going to be taking that option. If those were the circumstances, I would. That makes sense?
Okay. So if it's the last possible option, then you will do something that you don't necessarily love to do, but it's something that helps you find your necessities.
Yes, but if it is my only option, I will love it. See, that's the survival mentality. You got to love what you get because you don't have choices when you're surviving. You just got to take whatever comes and you got to love it. If not, you're never going to be happy. Am I making sense here, Chuck?
Well, some of these things are catching me off guard. I'm not entirely ready for them, but all in all, I think it's okay.
That's good.
So,
Very.
so how do you recommend adopting this survival mentality?
Okay. If you want to adopt this survival mentality, there's a couple of things you got to figure out. Is one, you got to figure out and understand reality. If you don't know how tough life is, go talk to people. Go talk to and really get to understand what's going on in their life and what they've been through. You talk to enough people, you'll figure out life is tough. It'll automatically help you realize, hey, I better be more humble and be more in survival than thinking I'm like thriving. I'm gonna like just kill it, and nothing bad's gonna happen and everything's great. Second is if you really want to be in survival mode, then you have to learn to respect what you have. See, when you're in survival mode, every little thing you have is a blessing because you don't have a lot. And so learn to take care of what you do have will help you to get into the survival mode that I'm talking about. It could be just from keeping your desk clean and organized. You might not have a lot, but make sure it's clear, right? Make sure it's clean every day. It could be like your pen jar. Make sure you don't have pens that don't even work in there, right? If you learn to take care of the stuff you got, you're going to learn how my survival mentality really moves me forward, right? So that's the second thing. Third is if you're in survival mentality, You're always looking at what you're doing and asking, am I doing it the best way? Am I spending the right time with the right people? Am I like focusing on the right things in my life? Right? And the more you do that, the more you'll start to question, well, why am I doing this? Or why am I doing that? And what is it actually bringing to me? And so as you look at what's really value to you, that will help you to have a survival mentality and be able to do well in life, be happy. And the fourth, go find a mentor. The mentor will help you to focus on the right things so that you realize, hey, I need to survive here. I'm not thriving, but I want to thrive. But first, you got to learn to survive. Hey, you know, that should be like a catchphrase. Learn to survive to thrive. Or maybe you have to learn to survive before you can thrive. Should that be the motto of our podcast? We're learning to survive so we can thrive?
No. We're good with what we got. So well, I appreciate it, Dr. Jacob. Thank you, listeners, for listening, and viewers for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. It would be great if you could take a moment to write us a review. For any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to have addressed on the show, email the team at leadaz.org. To learn more about the Leadership Society of Arizona, visit us at leadaz.org.